Hey, everybody. Today I have with me Gino Wickman, who will be our keynote speaker at our Exit Planning Summit. Gino is a true entrepreneur. He's the founder of EOS Worldwide, and he's the author of the well-known and award-winning book Traction, which I believe has sold over 1 million copies. And he's got 5 other books in the Traction library. Gino, I just want to give you be the first really to welcome you to our EPI community. We are excited and we are honored to have you a part of our big summit event in 2022.
Well, thank you for that, Scott. And I am really looking forward to this talk. I'm looking forward to this conversation as well. So I'm all yours. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, sure. I think that let's kind of I want to step back a little bit because I think there's a lot of synergies as you get to know a little bit more about the EPI community, the Certified Exit Planning Advisor community, and a little bit about EPI as an organization. I think that you'll find is that we have a lot of similar passions, which is one of the reasons I wanted to get you into our community and get you speaking. But we also have kind of similar experiences. So you started out in a family business. We're able to kind of turn, I think the story is you kind of turn that around and then we're able to actually sell that. And then you started and sold EOS Worldwide. For our audience, which is a bunch of folks that help business owners, entrepreneurs like you grow and exit companies. Can you kind of just start by being kind of this twice exited owner? What kind of experiences did that teach you in this journey to EOS life?
Yeah, it's so great. And there is a lot there, so but I can't help grab something you said first before the question. Sure. I'll answer the question, and I probably overuse this, but I can honestly say I've only said it about maybe 10 times in the last couple of years, but I do feel like we are a match made in heaven. The work that you guys do, we're working with the exact same audience. And I feel the passion that comes through from your organization. You genuinely care about these people. So this message I'm going to share in the work that we both do, it's going to be like, I really believe it's going to be a big wow, but I also like to manage expectations. So let's keep our expectations under control, but the fit feels so good. And in answering your question, I screwed up pretty good selling the first business. Okay. And then I really got it right selling the second business. And when I sold the first business, that was the family business. And here I was, a 29-year-old kid negotiating with these really good negotiators. It was really, really tough, but we sold pretty good. But I absolutely got it right with EOS Worldwide. And the way I got it right with EOS Worldwide is how it was really a 5-year succession plan of getting the right leadership team in place so I could free myself up so that the day I sold, they did not need me anymore. So I was truly free. And when you make the tie to the EOS life, and ultimately this message we're going to talk about, living your optimal life, I was truly free. But there's so much more in this because I also knew what my next passion was. I knew my next purpose. And so one of the biggest things that happens for a business owner is they sell, they get the big check. And there's 2 things going on. Number 1, they're sucked back in their business and they want out and they don't want to work for somebody. They're unemployable. Number 2, they've lost their purpose. They sold their meaning. And so now they go in this 1-year-long depression, having no meaning, having no purpose. Right. And so I knew all of that, having experienced it the first time around. And so, I try not to boast, but I sold really good on that one because the day I sold, I had no responsibility to that organization and I could go pursue my next passion. And so it was the ultimate win-win-win for everyone involved.
I couldn't agree more with you. So it's obviously something that we teach our advisors at EPI, right? There's this alignment of the 3 legs of the stool. You got to have your business goals align with your personal goals and align with your personal financial goals. And I think a lot of it comes from this personal planning is that most owners are so trapped inside of their business, or not even trapped, maybe trapped probably the wrong word. They're so passionate about what they do. I've heard your story, I've watched your videos, and I feel the same way. I sold my first company in 2010 at 24 years old. And I kind of wandered for a year because I had no real purpose. Yeah. And now, and this kind of leads me into kind of my next question. We were talking about this a little bit before we kind of came on to here. I got the opportunity to not just read EOS Life, the book, your new book, but to see you speak in April of 2021 at the EOS Worldwide Conference, and you know this, but for our audience, it was legitimately life-changing. I think, honestly, the past 24 months of my life have been very life-changing moments. So it's kind of odd that this kind of aligned with all of that. But I'm thinking about it in really two ways. One, I'm a serial entrepreneur as well. And, listening to the talk, we get so ingrained, so engulfed in our business because we love it. That's what we do. It's one of our major passions. But I don't know, even in April, Gino, I don't know if I was living my ideal life or my optimal life, that you were happy, but you weren't all that fulfilled. Now, to your point, think about a person that is the baby boomer business owner, 60, 65, 70, trying to exit their companies. They spent probably 30, 35 years growing that company out of their sheds, their backyards, their bedrooms. And now it's time for this transition to harvest the wealth and go into a next phase of their life. So can you tell us a little bit about, I guess what we teach is we believe that exit planning is business strategy. There's really nothing different, that you need to be doing these things right now so that, like you, when your exits, what you just talked about, you knew the second time around, you had more balance, you had more vision, more purpose, and it made that transition into, frankly, what you're doing now way more fulfilling and frankly, something that you were looking forward to because you knew. So can you talk to us about what does it mean to live the EOS life? What is that optimal or ideal life? And what can people expect? We're all going to receive a copy of the EOS Life book. We haven't read it already. What does that look like? What is the EOS life? What does it mean to optimize or live this ideal life?
Yeah, so you prompted so many thoughts there. So I'm going to narrow it
down for me.
20 things swirling in my head down to about 3. Okay. And so the first thing I want to share, I want to go back to the first question. And I'm reminded of, one of the things I did when I sold the first business is I signed a 3-year employment agreement, and I was employed by someone else for 3 years.
That had to be different.
Excruciating for an entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
I managed to get out of that contract in a year and a half. And what I did every day for 450 days was tell them, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. In other words, I got everything done they needed done. So I'm reminded of how excruciating that was for me to work for someone else. And I share that with every client, whenever my clients sell. So at least you're aware going in. And worst case, if you decide that you can't work for someone, then have an out for yourself and get a check that's big enough that you have an out so that you're not prisoner to this thing. Because most of my clients, they're fine. They work that employment agreement, but just be aware. So I want to I'm reminded of the pain that I experienced having to work for somebody. Second thing I want to go to, and I am getting to the answer to your question, is with this talk that we're going to do, that I'm doing for you, there's going to be a 1-hour message and then a 30-minute Q&A. And the reason I bring that up is I want to plant a seed early for everyone. Q&A is my absolute favorite thing in the world to do. And you witnessed it, obviously, at the EOS conference. So bring your questions, bring these kind of questions, because I often get people wanting me to write a book or teach, and talk about how to sell well. You guys do that better than I do, but this is a great opportunity to just dig into my brain in terms of what I did to sell well after all that experience. And then leading up to your question, you're referencing the book EOS Life, and everyone's going to get a copy of EOS Life. That's very kind of you to buy a copy for everyone in the audience. But not only are we going to talk about EOS Life, which means living your ideal life, but you said the right words. We are going even bigger and broader and scarier than that, because we're going to talk about living your optimal life. And living your optimal life means you creating a life for yourself where you have more energy, more creativity, more freedom for yourself, and you're ultimately going to make a bigger impact on the world. So let's not get too heavy yet, but in a 1-hour message, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And my question to everyone listening right now is, do you want to live your optimal life? And here's what's crazy. Most people, you would think they would say yes, but they get this ping of something in their soul. And so then I always like to say, hold on one second. If I filled you full of truth serum and bourbon, and there were no ego and no fear and no judgment and no guilt and no baggage attached to your answer, you would freely say, hell yes.
Yes, right.
So,
Exactly.
so with that, I want you to recognize all those emotions that come up when you picture you living your optimal life, because we're going to get past all of that and show you how to do it. And what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to show you, let's picture a spectrum, and let's pretend this is not living it at all and this is fully living it. You're going to see exactly where you are on the spectrum. And let's pretend you're here. You're going to see exactly what you need to do to get to here. And I'm going to show you how to get all the way there. And again, I'm going to end where I started with this question you asked. At that point, when you say, what does it look like to live your optimal life? There it was. More energy, more creativity, more freedom, more impact on the world. It's a pretty damn good life.
It's a pretty damn good way to live, man. I think that, I like how you kind of segued from the book into the actual talk as well. I think not only was it, for me, obviously very impactful, literally life-changing, but as an educator, a person that owns the Exit Planning Institute, I loved it because it really fits this like actionable education, right? I thought that your keynote was really kind of like untraditional. The audience actually got to like roll up their sleeves, jot down how they were feeling. You make us rate ourselves. You kind of make us put like key thoughts and like the key thoughts page, and you come out with things that you could do immediately. And I think for our EPI community, I think Gino, whether it's Gino's books or his keynote, it's not just something that we can take to our end users, and for our end users, as advisors, they're business owners. I think business owners need to hear this message that Gino, you provide, that it's this balance, living it now, so that in the next act or the next couple of acts, whatever that is for you, you're continuing to live this ideal life. I think it just allows you to not only just be a better and healthier person, but be able to make better decisions overall. And then for our certified exit planning advisors, our CEPAs, why I also wanted you to come to speak is that a lot of our CEPAs are this entrepreneurial advisor, right? They own their own advisory firms, or they're business leaders. They lead a whole segment of an accounting firm or a legal firm, or they lead a whole division of a particular company. So not only is it something that I think we take out and home to our business owner clients, but it allows us to take 90 minutes of our day, pause, and understand who we are, so that if we can live our ideal or optimized lives, we can certainly help show business owners how to do it as well. So Gino, I really appreciate you hanging out for a few minutes with us. We're gonna save the rest of the conversation for our conference in May. And I really do think that this really fits into who we are as an EPI community, in this balance of business, personal, and financial life. So Gino, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes with us today.
Thank you, Scott. I cannot wait, and I look forward to meeting all of you out there. Looking forward to it.
Cool.